Hey guys and girls, welcome to another episode of Watching Giant Deer Antlers Grow. If I'm not mistaken, this is week number 16. You know, we took week number 15 last week and did kind of a recap. We did kind of a recap of the first 15 weeks. We sort of started and showed you some of the deer as they grew throughout the year, and it's just an amazing thing to do. And we did that for a couple reasons. One, I've been wanting to do that for a few weeks because it is so remarkable what happens on a deer's head every single year. And they lose these antlers. They lose these. They shed these usually about February here in Oklahoma, sometimes as late as March. And I've actually seen them in turkey season, particularly down in South Texas with horns on them in April during turkey season. So, but they lose these and then they grow them back, and they grow them back larger every single year. And it's just amazing. And we're watching 5 or 6 specific deer and seeing what happens on them. This is week number 16, so now we're into September, barely. We're into September, and we're going to kind of watch as these deer turn their horns from velvet horns and it's soft into hard horns that are antlers or bones. And I'm trying to get a hold of some game cams to put on my 4-post in there where I can maybe get some pictures of them scraping that velvet off. I think that could be kind of interesting. So far I haven't been able to do that, but I'm hoping that happens here pretty quickly. But we're trying to get that done. We're kind of in a bad area, so sending pictures by game cam doesn't really work as good out here as it does in some areas because of not having enough internet service. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. We're right where we want to be. We're right where we want to be, I promise you. But we're going to be going into pens here in just a little bit. But before we do, let's go up and take care of our favorite house deer. Take a look at him, Forrest and TC. TC just turned into a monster. And remember, he was wilder than a hornet in the pen. I mean, you couldn't get anywhere close to him. We turned him out, and after he ran around the woods a while, he ended up coming back to the house and turned into a really gentle deer. So let's go to the house, look at the deer there at the house, and then we'll get the pens and look at Whitey, Bazooka, and Hubba Bubba Bubba. TC is very, very easy to get a really great look at because of his addiction, addiction to South Fresh deer food. And that's what he's eating right now. And you could look at that rack. It's just amazing. I don't know how wide that is, but it's very, very wide. And it looks like he's rubbed just a little bit, but still pretty much all velvet. But the velvet's getting a little lax. He's changing colors. He's losing a lot of the orange that they have during the summertime. You can see how orange looking those deer are beside him. That's a little buck, maybe 2 little bucks right there beside him. You can see how orange they are and how gray he is. Now that's a winter coat that he's getting on. And I think he's 14 point. I think he's 10 up on top plus those 4 nubbins that have grown into horns. And I think TC is 6 or 7 years old, so he probably will start losing a little body weight as he goes on. And certainly during the rut, which we're hoping he participates in the rut big time. I know that getting old shouldn't slow you down from participating in the rut. I'm just saying. But you can see how TC looks there. He looks absolutely fabulous. And he's got big and TC, hey buddy, look up here a little bit. Yeah, you can look down there from where he's that angle there. He's not going to stick his head up very much. He feels so comfortable. I'll move just a little bit. There you can get a beautiful, beautiful look at TC. That's in really, really tight right there. How large his antlers really are. And he got a little yearling doe and a little yearling buck beside him. That little yearling buck right there is 06 with that broken horn. It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out also. Forrest is not right here right now, but we'll get a good shot at Forrest and have in here also. He's just not here right now. He was here just a little while ago, but I don't know where he went. But he's run off somewhere. But he'll be back. He'll be back pretty soon. They all come back unless they get lost out there in the woods or some critter gets them. But TC looking big. Hi, Forrest. Hi, Forrest. Hi, Nina. Hi, Nina. Of course, it's always easy to get a nice look at Forrest's antlers because he is always right here close by to get his picture taken. Forrest has become a real favorite of the ladies, both 2-legged ladies and 4-legged ladies. And he don't really care that much about the 2-legged ladies, except one that carries a bag of grapes out here and a bag that Susan DeHaven made for her. And somebody suggested we take the grapes off of the stems, and which I think we'll do that. That way he can't pull the whole big bunch out at once. He's wanting in these buckets right here is what he's wanting in. But you can see he's might have added a little bit since we looked at him last, but he's just a pretty boy. That's just all there is to it. He is a pretty boy. Nina says, will you quit talking about a pretty boy and give a pretty girl some food? I've already fed you once this morning. I fed you right after daylight. I went and got Chris ready, and now here you are back for more. And that is Forrest. Well, we've kind of got a little routine that we've got once we go in the pens here and look at these deer as we come in here and take a look at Bazooka and Whitey, and that's what we're going to do there. And they're running around a little bit. I don't know what's got them kind of scared. They're kind of back. They're kind of a little nervous there in that back pen for some reason. I was in here with them day before yesterday, and they were both really pretty docile and pretty nice. But right now they're really a little spooky acting. I'm gonna walk back here to the back, but I can't tell who that is right there. I think that is Whitey. Whitey's got a tag in his left ear. As we all know, that should be a girl. We tag the girls in the left ear and the bucks in the right ear, and he got tagged as a girl when he was a little bitty baby. The other thing we want to look at as we go through here is look at how much the babies are growing. The babies are just, and you remember how tiny, it's hard to believe how tiny they were when they're born, but they were very, very tiny, and now they've just turned into some pretty nice little deer. They all still got their spots, but those are beginning to go away too. We get a nice rain. A lot of times you have a big rain shower and it takes all the hair away that's got the spots. But we're going to walk on down there and take a look at Whitey and Bazooka up a little closer. We're not that far from him right now, but you can see what massive horns. This is these deer's second-year horns, so they are absolutely trophy bucks. They're typical. They got a lot of extra stuff up there, but they would score as a typical buck. You have typical bucks and non-typical. They would score as typical. But they are just absolutely gorgeous. So let's go down and take a little closer look at them. How was this for a nice close-up look at Whitey? Now that is a magnificent animal right there. There's just absolutely no doubt about it. We're up close on him right here. And he is just absolutely fantastic. I haven't even really messed around trying to count how many points he's got up on that rack, but it's a lot. He's over in excess of 20. And he's just absolutely a gorgeous specimen. We'll be turning him loose in October. Hopefully we can keep him alive in here till the rut, and he'll be outside, and hopefully he stays alive outside. Now, he made it through outside just fine through the rut last year. We're hoping that some of the baby deer that are running around on the ranch are his babies, and they'll end up having big giant horns just like he's got. But he is definitely a prime big giant buck. I mean, he was born right here in the pen. That's his second horns. I keep saying I'm going to get the antlers, the shed antlers from last year, and I need to do that. I might just do a special deal and run it on a Tuesday or Saturday when we don't run a video on Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube. Share all this with all your hunting buddies and all your friends, even if they don't hunt, that like to watch whitetail deer. Share this video with as many people as you can, because this is really an enjoyable deal. And we'll also kind of want to look at some of the babies. You can see there's a baby laying there not very far away. You can see how big that baby has got. I mean, they've really grown an awful lot. And that little baby is, I can't see a tag. I think the tag's in I guess it's in its left ear, so that's a little doe, but it's pretty good size. That's a little buck right there. His tag is in its right ear. And so he is probably the last one born. I think I think there's one more deer down there that's smaller. You can see off down there in the back. That's a little bitty tiny rascal right there, but just as healthy as it can be. And these babies are just growing a lot. We only have 5 babies in this pen right here. Three of them are all in one family. They belong to that big giant doe that looks like she still could be having babies, as a matter of fact. But you know, I didn't want to do a video. Another reason I didn't do a video last week was because of the heat, and doggone, we're supposed to be in the 80s right now, but we're not. It's 95 degrees again today. I waited until late in the evening to come down here, but it's still above 90 degrees. Heat index up close to 100. It was over 100 today. I think it got to 95 is what it actually got to today. But we do have some cooler weather coming in. And I think that Saturday is about the last really bad day. Maybe the last day we get up over 95. Let's move around just a little bit here because Bazooka, there's Whitey in there eating that South Fresh deer food right now. Got his nose in there, getting all the food that he really wants. You can see the tag there in his left ear and get a real good look at those antlers from right here. Real good look at them. And you can see here is Bazooka. Bazooka's just laying over there. He was up running around when I got here, but you can see that he also is a tremendous specimen. I mean, just a tremendous specimen. And he's laying there in the shade because the shade is just precious to him. Look how big and fat he is, and he's getting his gray hair also. Now he got getting gray hair because he's old, because this is only his second year, so he's 2-year-old deer. That's his second set of horns also. I think that these deer are brothers. I haven't looked at those tags that closely, but I'm believing that those two are brothers. If they're not, of course, they were both born 2 years ago. But he is a beautiful deer also, and he's laying there, and he was up running around. But you can see he's breathing a little hard. That's just because it's so hot. He's a beautiful, beautiful deer. Again, over 20 points without a doubt, and just spectacular. I mean, what can I say? Just spectacular. And we're up pretty close to him. If we got a little closer, he'd probably get up and run off. And don't really want him running and moving around right now at all. You see he's got a lot of white around his eyes, just like little Ranger had. Ranger had a lot of white around his eyes. And Ranger wasn't a hybrid deal, just one of Lucy's triplets, and I guess something got Ranger, or he left, or we just don't know. I mean, him and Jenny disappeared. That guy's going to get up and run, and I haven't moved. I haven't moved. They move so gracefully. They move so gracefully. He's probably just going to go down there and find him some more shade and lay down. I couldn't even keep up with him. He took off. And he said, I'm just tired of you laying here. Tired of you listening to, he's going to come back up here and lay down right where he was probably. Here he is right here under the building. It's nice to see him move around, but, you know, we don't really want him moving a whole lot right now, this kind of heat like it is. But I just never get tired of looking at something like that, because most people that deer hunt don't really ever get to see a deer that majestic and that beautiful. And this guy will just be breeding the deers that's left in the pen here. We won't leave that many does in. Probably leave maybe 15 does in the pen, and that'll be about it. And he will just have a few, just like this year, a few. And there's Whitey standing there in the sun, looking beautiful, gorgeous, very, very close to him. I could probably fool with Whitey if I had time when it cools off. I may fool with him a little bit and try to get him to eat out of my hand a little bit. He probably will hang around the house a lot. There's a lot of does around there, and he'll probably hang around and hopefully breed some of those does and put that big rack genetics in some of the does, because he is he's bigger than Bazooka, and last year he wasn't as large as Bazooka. I've got the sheds off of both of them. So, all right, let's quit stalling and go look at Hubba Bubba. Well, what do you think? So far, so good, huh? I tell you what, that just TC looks about marvelous. Forrest looks good. Bazooka, Whitey, everybody is just, I'm telling you, they're just showing off. You just don't get to see deer like this very many places. They're just absolutely showing off. But Jamie and I was here Sunday. Jamie came down Sunday, and we walked over here Sunday evening and walked in the deer pen just a little bit. I don't know what video he shot, but he shot a little bit of video on my phone while he was messing around with the deer. And let's take a look at a little bit of that video before we look at Bubba. Let's look and see what we did with Jamie, because I know that Jamie had old Split Ear over here, which is right here, which is one of my buddies. You see she's right here eating beside me, and she comes up and I can pet her. She's got a split ear. I think she had a tag that was caught. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Look at that. That's a pretty nice doe right there. I don't know how many babies she had or which one of these babies are her, but look how she is a nice doe. And we won't let her out. We're going to let her leave her in here and let her breed, just because she's just such a nice girl, and I love her so much. But let's look at some video that Jamie shot in here, and I don't know what he's got and what he shot. We'll look at something he shot Sunday, which was just 3 or 4 days ago. You guys see that 410? 410 and split ear. Yeah, y'all are good there. Yeah, y'all are good deer. Yeah, y'all are some good deer. Yeah. Oh, 410. Yeah, 410. Good girl. Good girl, 410. Yeah. 410 and split ear there. I'm not sure Make sure my babies have got water in the smaller containers. I can't drink out of the big tub to start with. There's some kept grass in there pretty good. Just there's not many deer in this pond, the reason. Look at that little guy. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi there, baby. What you doing, little girl? Huh? Hi, little girl. You are a pretty little girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Would be 5 babies in here is all. Triplets and 2 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You look at those 2 guys though, and the amazing thing is Whitey is bigger than Buck Bazooka. Last year it was the other way around. Not only has he got bigger horns. Oh yeah, well they got water. I'm sure Apache come and tell them. I'll make sure I have water for the babies because they're about to get big enough they can drink out of the big tank. But I don't know. Look at Bazooka. Look at Bazooka and Whitey though, aren't they something? Hey guys. Hey big boys. That big giant doe down there, Jamie, is so big in the corner.
Yeah.
That's the one that had a triplet. And I'm thinking it might be $2 in a doe. See how big she is?
Yeah.
She looks like she's still got carrying triplets, doesn't she?
Big doe.
She is huge. Like the way she gets up around one of them other doe. But 3 of those are hers. And I think Cyclops is the daddy, so they ought to be really good ones. And look at split ear here. Follow us down here. But look at that Bazooka and Whitey. They're just absolutely incredible deer. Hey, Whitey. Hey, Whitey. I think I'll let Whitey out again, leave Bazooka in, let Whitey breed outside. He's got the tag in the wrong ear. We thought he was whoever tagged him, me or Apache or Chris, thought he was a doe. See, he's got the tag in the left ear, supposed to be in the right ear, being a buck. He got something broke, or is that just a drop? Just a drop coming down, isn't it? On that right side.
Yeah.
Left side is we're looking at. Is it broke?
I don't think it is. No, it's pretty straight out of there, yeah.
Don't be running into the pen, guys. Look at him though. Isn't he something? Second horns. Look how fat he is.
Pretty deer. Yeah, he is really symmetrical, even with all those.
He's probably 20 points.
Yeah.
And he is too.
He's palmated too a little bit as well, isn't he?
He's amazing. It's that little tiny one there. She's getting pretty good size though now. She's the last deer born, I think.
He got most of his velvet off, or does he? Cleaned off or not? Or
I don't think so.
Don't look real fuzzy, not compared to the other one. Well, maybe.
You need something though?
Yeah, he's pretty.
What you doing? You want something to eat? Why don't you bring me some carrots? Why don't you bring me some carrots, Jimmy? Huh? Why don't you bring me some carrots?
I just want to be up the house once it gets let out on it.
That's a pretty good girl. I don't know how she got her tag caught or something and ripped it out. So that ear got torn, I'm sure. I got it caught in the fence and ripped her ear open. Yeah, she's a good girl. There's a good girl. Yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah. Hey, Whitey. Hey, buddy. What you doing? What you doing, Whitey? Huh? Hi, babe. Hi, guy. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? You're a pretty boy. You're so pretty. Yes, you are. Well, I see that my babies can actually reach the water tank now. That's very nice to see them out there drinking out of that. That's what we got the small buckets around, and so the babies can drink water out of that. And I will fill all of those before I leave here tonight. But those deer are big enough that they're up there drinking out of the tank, which is good. You can see how much they've grown, and they were just barely big enough to drink out of that little bucket sitting there on the ground, that little tin bucket sitting there on the ground when they were born. So you can see how big they've grown and how much bigger they are. So let's just take a little stroll down there, and you look at all the babies are just fat and healthy. They got plenty of deer food, and plus some of them are actually still nursing. Mama won't let them nurse too much. As long as she's got a little milk, she will let them go ahead and nurse. They need that. But well, look how big they're getting. Just, I mean, the babies are just getting so big, it's amazing. Big enough to drink out of the water tank. That's just fantastic. You can look right there. They're laying around not paying a whole lot of attention to Jimmy. Now that pen there is connected with this pen, so they're just laying there enjoying themselves. And we're going to come back here and see if we can find this little baby's coming up real close. That's a little doe. Tag in the left ear, that's a little doe. And you can see they're all panting just a little bit. We've only got, out of the 22 babies we've got, only $5. Only $5 in the lot. Looky here. Looky here. Here's split ear come up here. I mean, come up here. Look at the split ear there. She's following me. She's following me around. Hey, baby. You're a good baby. Yeah. He said, Jimmy, it's hot. It'll get cooler next week, baby. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right, I'm trying to move this camera around as slow as I can. I know it's horrible camera work, but guys, you got to realize I'm not a camera person. That is not my job. I am not a camera person. But anyway, I got a great subject matter there because I've got Bazooka standing right there. I get in and try to hold this thing as steady as I can. Hey, hey. You remind me of Lucy. She's back here. Split ear got a hold of my shirt and pulling on my shirt. She's pulling on my shirt sleeve. And I'm petting her as we're looking at Bazooka there. You can see how big he is. He's just turned into a giant. He just turned into a giant. I don't know what they're going to score, but they're going to score an awful lot. I sure hope we can keep him in good shape for breeding. The babies are coming around. That baby right there's got a lot of white around his eyes. I'm not going to move the camera over right now. We're just going to look at Bubba over there. I don't want him to run around too much, but I will try to get just a little bit closer. It's kind of shady where he is. They're just not going to get out in the sun very much right now. Kind of shady where he is right there. And he just looks fantastic. He's such a big, fat deer, weighs 300 pounds probably. Just enormous. You can look at him and see some of those babies back there behind him and see how much they've grown, but still not even close. I can't hardly hold my camera because Split Ear is over here licking my arm right now. I bet I'll let you out. You'd follow me around like Lucy, wouldn't you? She said, yes, I would. Yes, I would, you good girl. She is just my baby. Not sure she could make it out in the woods, though, with the coyotes and the bobcats and the mountain lions. She might not be able to handle it. Now you can see he's rubbing his horns on those bushes down there right now. So he's actually started rubbing, and he will be rubbing that off. We've got a pole in here, and we got a pole in the other, but that's actually what he's doing right now. And that's exactly what they'll do. I'm gonna move just a little bit more. Split Ear is about to lick me to death. Don't want to move move too awful much. I'm having a hard time really holding this baby steady. Yep, now he's going to finally move. Look how beautiful he is when he runs. Look at that. I really don't want him running, but he's just going to move over at the other side. We've got 4 pins and we got them open, so we've only got 2. But you can just see what a gorgeous buck he really is. Incredibly handsome. Incredible horns. I have no idea what those horns are going to score. I don't even know if I'm skilled enough to score them. They're going to score up there so big. We'll go over and take a little, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to walk over because I don't really want him running right now. You can see all the deer gathering around that Texas Hunter demand feeder there. Folks use that feeder right there for protein feeders as well, where they have protein feeders on demand. Deer will only eat enough protein that they need. They won't really clean them out like they'd clean these feeders out. One of the problems we have with a demand feeder on the outside is elk. You get a bunch of elk around and they'll just absolutely wipe a feeder out, a demand feeder. So feeders on the outside are Texas Hunters that are on timers, so we only feed at the time that we want to feed, because the elk could take a big feeder and just absolutely eat everything in there. How'd you like to look through the woods and see those horns coming above the horizon up at you? There he is, Mr. Big, Mr. Bubba. Bubba, you are beautiful. Now, some of these babies in here belong to Bubba, so they might have horns just like he's got them right there. There's only 5 little bucks of the 22 that we have. He just had a year where usually it's about 50-50. Usually it's only 1 or 2 different. We'll probably keep maybe 10 or 15 does in the pens, let everything else go in October. And let some of them breed on the outside. Some of the does, it's high-class does that we have in here, will be able to bleed on the outside. And then the ones we have in here, well, of course, you notice we've kept 22 out of 24 babies alive, so we've done an exceptional job. A far, far greater ratio than happens in the woods. In the woods, if you keep 60% alive, you're very, very fortunate with them being born in the woods. And so we've done a much higher percentage than that. So, yeah, isn't he something laying over there? He likes to lay in that spot right there. It's in the shade. He just loves it. And that'll wrap up week 16. Week 16. 16 weeks we've been watching these antlers grow. We're going to follow them on through the getting the velvet off and kind of look at them during the rut. They're not going to change a lot. I swear they have changed quite a bit, though, it seems to me, like in the last 2 weeks. You know, we didn't show any new shots in week 15 last week. That was a recap. So we've actually been 2 weeks since we've looked at the horns on video, and I believe that they're still growing. I believe they're still growing. They got to be just about finished. They got to be just about as big as they're going to get. And when they start rubbing that velvet off, those horns won't be near as massive as they look. They're still going to be really, really big and really big, massive. And I might try to get at those sheds that I've got and let you take a look at those. I've got TC sheds also. I finally found those. And it took forever to find whiteys last year because those both shed in the wild. And I did a lot of looking for whitey, And, you know, when I finally found them, I probably walked within 30 yards of them a time or two. But I finally found them, and I got whitey sheds, I got bazooka sheds, and I've got TC sheds. So I've got them all. Of course, Forrest, I don't have any sheds from Forrest because this is his first set of horns. But we hopefully will find those sheds too when he sheds those. They're just a nice little beautiful 8-point, but next year he might be something really, really special. He's probably still going to be an 8-point, typical 8-point. TC's his dad, but he might get out there and be a really nice big 8-point. He probably will be twice the size as he is right now. I don't know. We'll probably do this again next fall. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. But I don't know how much longer we're going to keep deer in the pen and breed in the pen, because we've got a lot of deer on the ranch right now, and we got the genetics started the way we wanted. We're not selling any deer. We're not selling any hunts. We don't do either one of those. This is just to make the genetics better. Much like we've got F1 bass in our lake out there to make the bass fishing better, where the fish grow faster and they get really, really big, and they're still aggressive and will bite a lot, and we can catch them real good. So that's the situation we got here with the deer. But appreciate y'all being involved in watching deer antlers grow. Many of you have told me you've been here since week 1. I appreciate that to no end, and I appreciate you sharing it with as many people as you can. A lot of YouTube figures have gone down a lot this time of the year because not many people are watching YouTube as it was. So the figures have gone down quite a bit, but I know that a lot of you are here with us all the time, and I appreciate that a bunch. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. Great weekend coming up just around the corner. Football season, full swing. This is the weekend that starts it all. Remember, I sure do love you.